before the next presentation, I would call Professor Marzena Sobczak-Michalowska and Dr. Magdalena Bergmann. They are my excellent and esteemed professor at the WSG University of Economy in Bydgoszcz and in Poland. And the first when I heard what they are doing at the university, I was like, I can see the future what I'm doing at that time, because among the first in Hungary, I was a participant. I was a voluntary participant in the senior academy system, and I was one of the first lecturers who went to the senior clubs and taught them how to use internet, how to use the basic thing. So we focused on mostly on the digital techniques, digital values. But this university in Poland, they have some phenomenal things. I'll give a short introduction. The university has a very, very large senior club network with almost 8,000 inhabitants, 8,000 club members. And what is exceptionally good to hear, that all of those members, they are paying for their fees for the lectures and any other activities. And this is a brand new thing for me, especially here in Hungary, for example, in Romania, Slovakia, and the neighboring countries, because usually the elderly people, they expect everything free. Let's call this, because the pensions are very low, and they ask even from the local municipality and from the government to give them as a free gift or as a free service. So before they start their great presentation, I would like to ask them just to start a quick introduction, and if they can highlight their or your prizes, your achievements, that would be very, very informative for our listeners and watchers. Thank you. So I give you the floor.
Thank you very much, Marty. Hello, everybody. My name is Marzena Sobczak-Michalowska, near me, Magda Bergmann. It's a great situation that we have opportunity to be together with our colleagues from all the world. Our presentation are not small, and we hope will be interesting. And okay, start.
Yes, let's share the screen and proceed with the presentation.
Some elements about our university, some goals. Our university is a non-state and non-profit organization and the largest private institution of higher education in northern Poland without governmental subsidies. And very important is our mission, which operates on the basis of the entrepreneurship and engaged university concept within the model of a learning organization. In our university, cooperates with more than 1,000 lecturers, practitioners, academic teachers from 23 countries. Besides this, our partners, our visiting professor are Martin Żarnocki and David Laurent. We are very happy that you are together with us. You know our university, and I hope we will be cooperate in future very well. Our university was founded in 1999. We are largest university, how I said, and we have a central campus in Bydgoszcz, 7 local campuses in other cities. and one international faculty in Ukraine. We prepare in this moment a new international faculty in Kazakhstan, in Aktobe University, which starts non-profit organization. Some more information will be we have give you in future. We have many study programs, more than 20, I think in this moment 23 or 24 in some fields. One of these social and economic studies, pedagogy, psychology, international business, international tourism, health sciences, it's nursing in English too, physiotherapy, nutrition, physical education, sports management. Technical sciences, mechatronics, IT, management, engineering and construction, and humanities, foreign philology, creative industries. But more interesting for these fields connected with older people, with children, is social and it's a social fields of education, and students which studies is who studies in these fields are our partners, cooperate in practice, and some very creative elements. We learn from this from students. We obtain information, and we try to be in this trend. We start to be a young person together with our students, with our academic staff. Okay, Maciu.
One of the basic, I would say one of the most fundamental ideas of our university is the idea of the so-called engaged university. And what we have to emphasize is that since its beginning, WSG has been consequently carrying out various activities, many activities in close cooperation with our social and economic environment, our social, economic and local governmental partners. This involvement in social affairs seems some kind of strategic, unique point of our university, and also a very important point of reference for all our educational and applied scientific activities. At this moment, we are undergoing an international accreditation process with ACEU, which stands for Accreditation Council for Engaged and Entrepreneurial Universities. So we decided that the idea of social engagement, social involvement is such important for us that we want to get certificated, we want to get accredited for it. One of our latest recent successes in the field of engaged university is that we become a signatory of the Declaration of Social Responsibility in Science. This was a campaign initiated last year by Polish Ministry of Science and Higher Education, and we felt really honored and really happy to be invited by the ministry as a signatory of this declaration. Recently we were also awarded #1 disability-friendly organization in a national competition called Icebreakers 2019. This competition is organized each year by Polish Chamber of Disabled Persons Employers. It is by far the most prestigious awards that one person or organization can get in Poland in terms of disability inclusion and integration in society and economy. And here on this photo you can see our rector on the left and our president of Disabled Students Union on the right, as they were receiving the award at a very prestigious ceremony at a royal castle in Warsaw last year. So we consider this as a very honorable and very prestigious success. As for the idea and the origin of our social services, here are a few points I think that like paved us the way to found many facilities and many services that we will be talking about later. But I think like the most visible and the most practical one was that we observed a shortage of available and affordable care services in Poland generally, but also in our region and in our cities. We observed the shortage of nurseries, kindergartens, but also for different care services for elderly people. On the other hand, we observed a growing demand for such services due to many social, economic, and demographic changes. Let's mention more women getting into the workforce, more demanding work cultures like the culture of long working hours, the culture of over hours, which make people seek for high quality childcare, or changes or challenges related to the problem of aging society. The third one, I would say the third trigger, the third reason for us to start developing our social services at our campus was something that happened in the whole sector of higher education in Poland, especially non-public or private higher education. Not only our university, but in general, private universities in Poland face some serious challenges related to decreasing birth rates over the last 20 or 30 hours, which, let's say, produced less candidates and less students. And as a private university, as a university that, as our vice-rector said, as a university that do not receive any kind of governmental subsidies, at least for its basic functions, we had to start seeking for new tasks, new areas of operation, and new income opportunities. So in our case, developing social services was also a business challenge or economic challenge. And the last one is something that is nowadays very popular in Poland, is the idea of the so-called welfare means, or in Poland is rather known as multi-sectoral social policy. It is the conviction that it is not only the state and its agenda that can provide social services or social policy facilities, but also private and non-governmental sectors. And we decided that we want to join the whole sector of social policy as a social service provider. Here you can see on the left, in these colorful frames, main priorities of social policy in Poland, and on the right, in the right column, how do we fit or how we implement the main priorities of social policy in Poland. So we provide education in social services, we provide care and education for young children. We do this through our academic nursery, academic kindergarten, and our psychological guidance center. Then we have active aging and aging policy, and we practice this through our network of third age universities and daycare centers. Then support for persons with disabilities, and also our day centers are dedicated to that, our at-home mobile care, and our academic medical center. And last but not least, social economy, which we implement through our social franchise program and our Center for Supporting Social Economy. I will now focus in a more detailed way on the second, the third, and the fourth pillar of social policy. I will start with our academic kindergarten, which is called Children's University. We started in 2012. Originally, the kindergarten was designed for children of our staff members and our students with government funding. It was some kind of governmental program promoting the development of childcare in workplaces. But this was something we had to apply for. We did not get this financing as a subsidy. We had to apply an open competition for this type of financing. So we started as a workplace childcare facility. Until 2015, there were about 90 children attending each year, and in 3 years later, the whole facility was expanded and redeveloped to serve up to 140 children, and also inclusive education groups were launched. And these groups were addressed to children with disabilities or special educational needs. As for now, after further expansions and further redevelopment, the kindergarten serves about 170 children, and these are children not only from our academic community, but also from outside the community, from, I would say, from entire city of Bydgoszcz and the surroundings. The next type of social services that we developed on our campus is the academic nursery. It was founded in 2014, also with financial support that we had to apply for from the Ministry of Labor, Family and Social Policy. And at the very beginning, we had 16 children aged from 0 to 3, and they were enrolled to the first group located also on our campus in the center of Bydgoszcz. 4 years later, the facility was redeveloped and expanded, and we launched new groups, therapeutical groups for children with disabilities. What is very interesting is the fact that in the same year, our nursery also opened its new branch at the industrial park in Bydgoszcz to serve the families of workers. And this activity was done in close cooperation with the companies located at the industrial park area, and also the municipality of Bydgoszcz, which is actually the funding organization for childcare in our community. Also, more branches were launched in Bydgoszcz and suburban areas around Bydgoszcz, and as for now, we have about 250 children attending all facilities, all branches of our academic nursery. Here are some photos. So as you can see, both kindergarten and nursery are well equipped. Everything is children friendly. Everything is adjusted to very different needs and needs of different groups of children. Our next social service, also addressed to children or in general families with children, is our Psychological Guidance Center. And this center was founded in 2015. The main aim of the Guidance Center is to provide regular long-term guidance and care from diagnosing to therapy for children and teenagers for their psychological development and mental health. And we offer different types of services in developmental psychology, in speech therapy, in sensory integration, also in therapy of behavior disorders. And we have over 100 children and parents visiting our guidance center per month. And we also provide some kind of official assessment or official diagnosing for children and teenagers that have to be referred to either special education facilities or they require individual approach in the general education system. It's probably more or less the same everywhere, but in Poland, if a child is to be enrolled to a special education facility or the child requires individual approach in the general education facility, the child has to be officially assessed, officially diagnosed in terms of disabilities or learning difficulties or any other type of problem. So our guidance centers is entitled by the education supervision board for our region to provide this type of official assessment or official diagnosing. Yes, here you can see some of the rooms of our psychological guidance center. So the first one is probably designed to sensory integration, and the second one, it's probably for, as we can see a mirror on the wall, so it's probably designed to hold speech therapy classes or individual sessions. As we are talking about aging and aging society and elderly people today, our social services network is not exclusively addressed to children or teenagers, but we also have a very broad offer for elderly people. And the first one is the network of our third age universities. And the whole network started in 2007, and the main aim was obviously to provide elderly learners with access to scientific knowledge, foreign languages, art workshops, different spare time activities, and also social networking with their peers. We especially focus on small towns and rural areas because in larger cities, it is not very difficult to find your local third age universities. For instance, in Bydgoszcz, we have like each university, public or private, has its own third age universities. But the situation is completely different in small towns and in rural areas. So we decided that we want to focus on these areas as there is a particular shortage of social and cultural and scientific activities for elderly learners. And as for now, as of 2020, the whole network of our third age universities includes 55 local centers in 3 regions of northern Poland, which is Kujawsko-Pomorskie, Wielkopolskie, and Warmińsko-Mazurskie regions, and we have almost 4,500 attendees. So Martin, this is the exact number, maybe not 8,000, but 4,500 attendees of our third age universities. And as you mentioned before our presentation, this activity is fully paid by the attendees. So they are willing to pay for a whole year agenda of different lectures, different workshops, and different activities.
But they paid symbolically something about 10 euros per month to be in our network, third age universities. But if they choose more activities, they should pay for next activities, dodatkowe pieniądze, next month.
Additional money.
Month.
Yes. The basic plan is quite, we could say, quite cheap. It's about €10 per month. But if they want to take part in more activities, in sports classes or in excursions to other towns or countries, they can pay more if they are willing to. Here are some photos from the life of our third age universities. So as you can see, our elderly learners involved in very various types of activities. They have meals together. They have lectures, and they also have their sports clubs and sports activities. Yes, we each academic year we hold official ceremonies. So this opening ceremony and closing ceremony each academic year, and on the last photo you can see a participant being awarded a diploma by our vice-rector for education, and we really care for such symbolic things. We want our elderly learners to feel like students, so that they each academic year they experience the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony with diplomas and the whole academic stuff. Another type of our social services addressed to elderly generation is the network of our daycare centers. The first facility, the first daycare center, was opened in 2017 to offer both elderly and disabled persons some kind of 9 to 5 care from morning to afternoon hours, while their family members are at work, school, college, etc., and they have to do their own everyday duties. The target group of our daycare centers is quite diverse. We have both elderly people with aging-related conditions like dementia, Alzheimer's, etc., but also people, younger people, but people with serious or multiple disabilities. I think the common denominator is that these two groups both require companion and assistance throughout the day. And if their family members are working or studying or doing any type of very demanding everyday activities, it's very hard to provide companion and assistance for your mother, father, for your in-laws or grandmother or grandfather. So this was the idea of our daycare center to provide this from morning to afternoon care to also relieve other family members. Our attendees are offered meals, care, and various activities like cognitive training, occupational therapy, art therapy, and physical rehabilitation. The network now consists of 10 centers. We have 4 daycare centers in Bydgoszcz, plus 6 more in suburban or rural areas around Bydgoszcz, and we serve almost 200 attendees in total. And these 6, what is really worth mentioning is that these 6 centers outside Bydgoszcz are the result of partnership and cooperation with local municipalities. So in other words, we may say that local municipalities of the rural areas around our cities, they asked us for cooperation, for some kind of common project to open or to extend the daycare centers network to their local communities. And this also shows that in suburban or rural areas, the demand for this type of elderly care is very, very high, and this is something that is welcomed with really huge interest in these communities. Here are some photos from our daycare center. So as you can see, the participants, they spend some time in let's say common areas, but they also have art therapy or occupational therapy, and this is some kind of, let's say, rehabilitation or exercise corner. Yes, they also have their own website and Facebook profile, and they update every day. They do very frequent updates with what's going on today at the daycare centers, and they do lots of very interesting stuff. During the lockdown and during the worst period of pandemics here in Poland, the participants of our daycare centers were very, very extremely helpful for our academic communities, because they started making face masks from cloth face masks. So it was a really like, not just technically but also symbolically, it was something really meaningful and powerful. Time for some summary and time to reveal our further plans. So however obvious it may sound, we really believe that social services are very important and a very accurate response to demographic challenges, not just in Poland but also in many other countries. And we do not just believe, but we also practice this idea. And what we can reveal that we are very happy to have first examples of replication of our in-campus social services. Our friends and partners from the University of Aktobe in Kazakhstan decided to open their own academic kindergarten. They were so impressed and so inspired by ours, so they decided to create our own one. Our newest challenge is to provide, and one of the newest plans of our university in terms of social services is to provide more support for the so-called sandwich generation, which is the generation of people taking care of both children and elderly in their families. And our plans for the future also include creating an international network or international association focused on the development of social services. And we are also planning to launch new study programs related to professional care services, for instance, nursing in English or applied medical sciences in English. Just to finish everything, please keep your fingers crossed for our plans. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this fascinating presentation. Definitely, I will keep my fingers crossed. And it was. I would like to actually congratulate you for this disability award. What is I know it's a huge achievement for you. But I just got something into my mind during your presentation that you mentioned the challenges. You mentioned that the third age university focusing on the small towns and rural areas. And for example, in Hungary, I think, or maybe in this area, it's very, very hard for a private entity, it could be any kind of non-profit organization, to replace or to do the governmental presence. So how can you manage it? Is there any, I don't know, any problem or any bad experience that a private university or private entity will go to the small towns and how you handle it?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, it's not a problem because we are doing these activities in partnership with local municipalities, as I said, and thanks to the participant of municipalities in such projects, the attendees, depending on the level of their income, they don't have to pay, or they only pay a small part of the participation fee. So yes, local municipalities, they can bring a huge share of resources into this project. For instance, they give us rooms and space to organize this daycare center. They can also provide 100 or 700 financing, for instance, for participants with the lowest income level.
Okay, I get it. But how? Why these local municipalities? Why they don't organize by themselves? So what is the reason why they choose you, or what is the reason why you would go there and you do this? I don't know how it's in Poland that. The government should organize, or maybe the local municipality has to organize this type of care, or is just independently or individually is going on?
Actually, we are giving our know-how and our experience to local municipalities that don't have that experience or know-how. Actually, we are not. The truth is that the network of such daycare services for the elderly in Poland does not exist or exists only in very particular areas. So we do not replace the public system. We are introducing a completely new type of services in partnership with the public sector, which means the local municipalities. So we bring our knowledge, our experience, our know-how, and they provide the whole legal framework and financing.
Okay, again, just this is just a little bit strange that in Hungary, as I mentioned before, in the neighboring countries, especially the elderly people, they expect everything free from the government. So it's very, very hard to tell them they have to pay some 10 euros or maybe any type of fee because they expect everything free. But anyway, I can confirm that you have a wonderful programs, great therapies. And I remember that the last time I visited you guys, that I was joined this musical drum therapy, and it was fascinating with people living with disabilities, and they have a very, very good, very, very special program for everyone can join actually, but they are focusing on people with disabilities, and it's quite fascinating. So I know that you asked me to leave very shortly, just right after your presentation, because you are gonna go to Warsaw. So I really appreciate for your presentation.